It just happens to be in that.
Okay. I think it's. Does that sound right? Okay. So practice with it and just ask the angels to come through and let it vibrate. You can feel there's your heart will start vibrating, that you can hit it. Okay, the heart affects the thymus, which is right here, okay? And the immune system and the hormone production. It's deeply connected to appreciation and harmonious living. The negative side of this is jealousy, can't relate, codependent, closed down, and withdrawn. You see people that walk like this, and one of the reasons, I mean, there's physical reasons, but it's they're trying to protect their heart because they don't know how to expose their heart and be safe. And I, as a child, used to put, I was born extremely sensitive. My dad was a police officer, undercover agent, because I tell you what I live with. So a lot of gruffness. And I remember laying in bed building blocks around my heart and putting cement. And I built it as high as I could and as wide as I could. And then when I still got hurt, I added another layer and another layer and another layer. Because what do you do as a child? You don't know. Then the day came when I started working more intently with my angels. They said, gotta take that down, dear. But I don't know how to live without my walls. But slowly I took it down. And I realized when you just choose to be seen, don't think I've got this perfect, guys. You know me with cameras. Don't think I've got it down. But when you choose to allow yourself to be seen and stand in your centeredness and just be who you are, you don't need to be fearful. And the reason I say this is because you've looked at you. So there's nothing anybody could say to you that would harm you. And if they do say something that is ouch, all you have to do is say, that's an ouch. And I'll have to look at that. Why are you saying that? Where did that come from? And let me see if there's any truth to it. And then you look at it. And if there's truth to it, you resolve it. If there's no truth to it, you understand it's them. It's their reflection being seen in you. But you don't have to crumble and fall apart. And that's the beauty about standing that way. Okay, so my angels taught me, heart, teach my mind. Heart, teach my mind. So let's tap on your thymus. Heart, teach my mind. Heart, teach my mind. Heart, teach my mind. Can you feel that? Can you feel a resonance start? The brain and the heart starts to come in to resonance. So I would like a volunteer who is going to think a negative thought. We don't have to say it, but I just need a volunteer. Okay, Elizabeth. Okay, so think a negative thought. Resist. Are you resisting?
I was trying.
All right, so now I want you to take this hand and tap on your thymus gland. Leave your arm down so it doesn't get tired. Heart, teach my mind, love. 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 One more, because I can read the energy fields. Heart, teach my mind, non-judgment. Heart, teach my mind, non-judgment. Heart, teach my mind, non-judgment. Did I get it? Okay, resist. Okay. Is that what I want? Okay. So what we can do is, no matter what it is in your body, you have the ability to change Doesn't matter what you're up against, however it is, heart, teach my mind how to be more compassionate towards the other. Heart, teach my mind. And then certain things will start to happen. Because you're standing in your I am. Any questions about that? No? Okay.
Here's your C.
Huh? Oh, there's the C. You hum it. You're good. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay. This is a magical story. You know me, my magical stories. When I first started channeling, my husband did not believe in any of this. His words for it were less than kind. And, but my guides came to me and said, you need to leave your job, which I was working in the hospital, and we want you to launch into the world of channeling and intuitive readings and all of that. So I went home and I told him, and he said, well, I don't believe in any of this, but you have to make this amount of dollars every month before I will okay it. So I went back to the angel. I said, this is how much I have to make. They said, no problem, we got it handled. Now here I am launching out, you know, so it's starting new. And they showed up. I did make that amount of money. And on the opening of my debut in the medical clinic I was working in, he brought me a rose in a little duck. Just a single rose. You know how they had those real popular? And it meant a lot to me because he didn't believe in what I was doing, so I put it on the shelf. And a year went by, and you know, he still never really fully believed in it, but he started to question. Anyways, I continued to do my channeling, reaching with my heart, opening it deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And one day I walked by the dried up rose, because it had long been dead, and it was secreting rose oil. And I looked at it, and I mean, they had to get pretty obvious with the secretion of rose oil because it was dripping off the shelf. I mean, how long that had been secreting, I did not know. But this one little petal was producing, such rose. It just kept producing. I looked at it and I said, holy cow, can that happen? And of course, my team upstairs started cracking up. Of course, dear, it can happen. We wanted you to know you've reached the frequency of love. And this was our gift to you to show you that vibration now exists within your energy field. So for one whole month, everybody came and partook of the rose oil. Now, if this had been today, I understand it a whole lot better than I did back then. I just thought, pretty interesting. You know, it was a miracle. That was a friggin' miracle. So I could let that in. Back then I went, okay. You know, I mean, I just didn't fully get it. We're going back about 15, 14 years ago. So anyways, and then after one whole month, it dried back up. Not that my frequency dried up, they've gotten the message across, and everybody who would come for sessions was able to take a part of that rose oil. Isn't that amazing? The rose of love. And that was a rose of love in oil from the heavens, as well as sharing with me, even though my husband could not accept totally to love him where he was at and let it go. And ultimately, our marriage came apart. But to really love and value what we did have, and he gave as much as he could give. So the heart is so powerful, unbelievably powerful. Okay, I if I shared this story, please tell me, about the man that was a drunk. Did I share that story with you? Okay. So my angel sent me to live in South Phoenix. Anybody know South Phoenix? It's a really low vibration. Really low. And I was in the TV section, wherever it was the TV years ago, where everybody would go if they had TV. So guess what? I got to transmute TV. However, I was driving down the street, and I mean, it wasn't anything to have helicopters going over the head. Get back in your house! There, you know, or we're going to shoot you. You know, it's like the nervous system. I worked down there, so I only had to be down there for maybe 10 days out of the month. But let me tell you, it was a lesson. So the Christ of Energy would be in the car next to him, and we'd have these long talks. And he told me he was overshadowing me. And he came in to make certain that I understood the principles and the teachings. So when the day came, I could stand in that energy, in that power. So I'm driving down the street, and this drunk on the side of the street, you know, really drunk. I mean, I don't think he'd seen the light of day forever. And Christ says, wave at him and open your heart. And I go, oh, you sure? Wave at him and open your heart. So I waved at him and opened my heart. And he looked at me, and his eyes flew open, and I heard him telepathically say, you know me? And I said back telepathically, I do, and I'm sending you love. And with that, he fell back and was stumbling across the street. So Christ said to me, he'll never be the same. I said, why is that? He's back being a drunk. No, the door opened that much to love. And he will never return to that same state. It's impossible, because love opens those doors. So about 6 weeks later, 7 weeks later, I had forgotten that experience. Not forgotten it, but you know, I was on to other things like life does. And he's this time still on the left side of the road, he's on the right side of the road. I'm driving down the street, he jumps out and goes like this at me. And I thought, who is that guy? And then I drove past him, and he didn't forget. He did not forget. Now, I was past before I remembered who he was, and Christ said, see, I told you, he would never return to the state he was in. And that's the power of love, guys. If you can do that with a drunk who's totally possessed and comatose, what can we do? Now, we have to be true to ourselves and love ourselves first. But it has the capability to shift. I have a little dog who's passed. Her name was Mookie. She was found in a canal drowning. My daughter found her. Totally possessed. The most wild, obnoxious dog there was. Of course, the landlord said, you can't have her, so guess who gets her? Me. I went and picked her up, and the whole purpose, she was pregnant. Whole purpose was to get her on her waist and then get her adopted. My husband said, oh, Lordy, we got another dog. So, anyways, I bring her home, and I had the baby supported. And, oh, it broke her heart. She knew when half of the babies had been removed. So I said to the angels, what do I do to heal her wounded little heart? And they said, go get a few little stuffed animals, put them around her, and kiss her belly every day. Tell her what a beautiful mama she is. I did that, and within 3 days, she was over all of her pain. All of her pain had left. Then she still was obnoxious. I mean, she ate a whole bottle of my hormones. I came home and her eyes were like this, and I went, Mookie? And they were up on a shelf. That little dog had to climb high to find those hormones and ate the whole flippin' bottle. I called the vet, and the vet said, is she still walking? I said, yeah, but drunk. Well, that's good. There's nothing we can do. So anyways, that tells you a little bit about her. So I one day she had tore up a whole bunch of stuff in the house, and I grabbed her and I set her on my lap and I said, Mookie, I love you so much. I don't know what to do to heal you. And I just sobbed from my heart. Her eyes literally changed colors from light to dark brown, and all these entities came out of her. And she said to me, Mama, I couldn't get in my body. That's why I was so obnoxious. Those entities had taken over. But your love healed them. And with that, it's a good segue for Scott to tell his story about love.
Oh. Okay. I don't know if all of you realize this or not, but there's been like a war going on in heaven, and this is quite a deal going on right now. We all need to pray and bring love back into our hearts. A couple of weeks ago, I was doing a clearing on a man that was literally harassing a client that I have, and she's a light worker, and this guy had 2 demons in him, and literally he was attacking her. He was doing everything he could to, I don't know if you've seen these noisy harassment things that they do, but he was doing all of that and more, and these demons were constantly attacking her energy. And you know, when we fall from grace, like the fallen angels did, they became demons. And these demons think they have to fight against the love of God. And so when she called for help, luckily St. Germaine has taught me how to make cylinders of light to put these demons in and seal them up with the seal of Solomon until they accept the redemption of God or the love of God. The first person I did this on was Father Gabriel down in South America, in Medellin, and it was wonderful because once we got the demon confined, Father Gabriel started to heal, which was a miracle. And so this lady was just getting bombarded so badly that I took a look at this man who was possessed and these 2 demons, and I told him flat out, look, and you can telepathically talk to them. If you know anybody who's possessed, you can all do this. We all have the capability of helping them go to the light. Well, when I started talking with these 2 demons, I said to them, I can confine you in a cylinder of light until you accept the redemption of God, which means that you will not be able to do any more evil, and you will be confined. And they were like, wait a minute, we've been told we can never come back into the love of God. And I said, no, this is a lie. Everyone can come back into the love of God. And when I said that, they both looked at each other and did a little quick conversation. And all of a sudden, instead of being demons anymore, all of a sudden they became these bright, beautiful angels. And I was like, oh my gosh. And they sent gratitude and love to me for letting them know they can come back to God, and they flew off into the heavens. And so I didn't even have to put them in the cylinders of light. They actually came back into the light through the love of God. And it's quite fascinating. Now, I'm supposed to tell another little story that just happened yesterday. I was doing a intuitive reading on this lady, and she said, you know,